Hello YouTubers, today or tonight whenever you're watching this, I am doing another Marvel Fox movie review. And by the title of this movie review is Deadpool, the first Deadpool. We're finally at this point out of every frickin' Fox Marvel X-Men and Fantastic Four and Daredevil movie reviews. We're finally at the first Deadpool movie review. Um uh ba- Basically, do I have any negatives? No, I do not have any negatives for Deadpool. um I was about, I want to say, I was about 15, maybe 16, when, yeah, I want to say I was 15. When the first Deadpool came out, I was so excited, did not know what Deadpool was. And, I really wanted to see the movie before I did the comic book research. Which I know that's kind of dumb, but hey, I kind of didn't really care because I knew, because I was at the point of, yes, I did like reading the comics, but the movies adapted comic books a little bit more differently. So, because you can't really have everything from the page on the screen. So, but since it had the rated R rating, I really couldn't be able to go because I was underage, and basically there was no way in hell I was gonna have my dad take me, be able to convince my dad to take me. Out of every single Marvel movie I could have, Deadpool was not one of them. But I was so excited when it came out on DVD and Blu-ray because I did not care in the world if I hated it or not, because out of every X-Men, basically, out of not just X-Men, any Marvel movie that Fox brought out, I over basically liked or hated. And even if I hated it and knew that I bought the movie, I basically still liked the movie in a way because I bought the movie, and I was proudly to add it to the collection. So when it came to Deadpool, I automatically bought it. When Hastings was still open, and I was so excited. Because I finally got to see it once it finally came out to buy on DVD and Blu-ray, because I heard all my friends talk about it. I was getting so agitated because they were saying how good it was, how good the action was, the story, the CGI, and and just everything about the movie. They said it was so fucking good. And I was getting so agitated because I'm like, I gotta see this movie so I can finally know what they're talking about. Yeah. Just kidding. Basically, yes. When it finally came out to buy on DVD and Blu-ray, I grabbed it. That was the first thing I grabbed when I walked in the door of Hastings. Thanks to my dad, being with my dad when Hastings was still open, he helped me. He helped me buy it. Now I had the money, but basically the age gap problem. He helped me with that. So I got the movie. I was so excited to get home and watch it. Although I did see one of the parts before I did get its DVD and Blu-ray release, like the bridge scene. I was on YouTube one night and I saw the bridge scene with him and Colossus. And dude, the first time I saw that on YouTube, that whole entire clip of him basically breaking his hand, his freaking foot. Oh, dude. I was laughing so freaking hard. I had to rewatch it again. And even though I rewatched it the second time, I had to watch it the third time because I was just once again laughing. I dying laughing. I just thought I can where I was laughing so hard where I could not breathe. I thought I was gonna die of laughter. And honestly, which made me even more excited to see the film. And then finally sitting down, watch the whole movie. I do got to admit, the story plot is good. I like how they did the origin of Deadpool. Honestly, I like how they didn't do a complete beat by beat of basically here's the beginning, how he met the girl, basically, even though they kind of did that, but a little bit more differently. Is basically they started off with a little bit of the action of him already as Deadpool, and then flashback of him just as Wade Wilson meeting the girl, and then his reason to get the powers. It is because he found out he got cancer, and even though he doesn't really want his girl to go through it with him, he basically leaves her and gets the power so he can heal himself and go back to his girl. And then we jump back to kind of him already as Deadpool on the bridge, and then we see Colossus walks in. Basically we get introduced to the obviously the title of the movie, Deadpool. We finally get a perfect introduction to the real Deadpool. Not that piece of garbage, trash, wannabe Deadpool that we saw years back in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Because the beginning part where he's like, not Sam Wilson, but Wade Wilson / Deadpool, in the beginning of that movie, that was pretty cool. That was awesome. But when it gets more to the end, where they have his mouth stitched up, a couple of like surgery burns, lines around his body, and then having his katana blades coming out of his hands. Okay, yeah, that. No, I do not care if there are some people out there. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a cool way to try and bring out Deadpool. It was an upgraded way, and honestly, it already gave Deadpool some of the abilities that he did have in the comics, like teleporting from one point to another. He didn't really have laser eyes, or so much as I know of, and he didn't. He had the healing ability. They try to rush the origin story of Deadpool while in the Wolverine movie, so they didn't really have to explain that. But the way they did it in Deadpool, the first Deadpool movie, was a lot more better. Because it wasn't a typical ordinary run to the mill cash grab origin story for, like, as it is for every superhero first original movie. It was actually him showing parts of him already as Deadpool, and while kind of explaining in the beginning of how he got to that point, of how the first scene we see him as Deadpool, and then it continues on right once Deadpool himself knew we were getting to that point, because throughout the beginning and throughout the movie he is breaking the fourth wall, which I really liked. Typical Deadpool from the comics to the movie. Even in the comics he broke the fourth wall, so I really enjoyed that. I basically loved how Ryan Reynolds was as Deadpool, because he is Deadpool straight up. I have not known any other actor that could possibly replace Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Um, uh, uh, but the action, I really enjoy the action. The comedy, especially from Ryan Reynolds, I really enjoyed. Basically, and especially rewatching that bridge scene with Deadpool, Colossus, and Sonic Teenage Warhead or something like that. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. Which, okay, to me, I want to say she might have been a mutant character in the X-Men comics, but if she wasn't, it was still of a cool original mutant character to throw into the Deadpool movie, because honestly, I love the actress they choose to play that character. I loved the way how she played basically how the character was, and how the actress basically played as the character. Especially because knowing how the actress is, because I also love her and some of her other, like the other thing that I know that she worked on, which was Lucifer, because in Lucifer, which was a CW show, then Netflix bought it and then it became a Netflix show, was basically she played as the daughter of Lucifer and Chloe, which in Lucifer, some of her scenes I really enjoy, like her and Lucifer, her and Chloe, both of them, all three of them together. But how she, seeing her in Deadpool, then in Lucifer, I just really enjoyed how seeing her from Deadpool into Lucifer, and just kind of see the similarities and how cool and how relatable she can be. But anyway, also the same thing goes for the actress that played Angel, the kind of strong sidekick to Ajax, because I loved her in this movie. I loved her in Fast and the Furious, even though she was just a number 6 and she was basically a plot twist for that movie, but she still played in that movie very well. I loved her in that one, and I also love her in The Mandalorian. Yes, I get it, at some point people got tired of her as an actress, but overall you still got to admit she is good in Deadpool, Fast and the Furious and in The Mandalorian, and then whatever else she did. I loved who they chose to play Ajax. Um, Ajax, I had to say, was a good villain, a good choice for the movie. Yes, not 100% completely how of his origin from the comics. How basically in the comics he was more human than later on, like a few years later on, then he got the power, came back, his powers came back, had his revenge on Deadpool, because Deadpool was the reason why he had to get his powers. But in the movie, they basically kind of rushed that, kind of made that different, which, hey, that's fine. It still made him a good villain. It didn't really hurt anything as much. I liked it, Vanessa, especially the actress that played Vanessa, because I did also like her in Gotham. She did a very good in Gotham. Yes, in this one and in the sequel, she doesn't really have her mutant powers as she does in the comics, and that's only because they thought it would be awkward to try to rush that into the first and second story of the movie. And which I get, and she was also the love interest, which, Kate, yeah, I guess that's kind of even more of that was a more stupid reason to throw out. It was because she was the love interest, but trying to squeeze that in from the first movie, also with the second movie, it was just like, I saw the point of view. Now the third movie, I don't know, because I haven't seen it, and obviously if I have already seen it, I would have already reviewed it before the last few X-Men movies that Fox did. But I'm about to see Deadpool and Wolverine next Thursday, so I will know by that day, by then. And not when I go to do that review, because by then I'll see it. Overall, do I really truly believe the first Deadpool movie is a masterpiece? Absolutely. And especially because I loved how Ryan Reynolds kind of referenced a few things, like basically the MCU, which some people theorize that basically the army ship that Ajax and Deadpool fought on was basically a old shield helicarrier from the MCU, and basically by some fans crediting that theory that it was a shield helicarrier, a really old one. Then basically it made rumors that yes, Deadpool was already part of the MCU. Then basically he made a reference that went the post-credit scene, which I also love the post-credit scene. I mean, a reference to one of my favorite old classic movies, Fearless. Can't even say it. Ferris Bueller. Ferris Bueller. I still can't say it. I'm really tongue twisted. Ferris Bueller. How he basically kind of came out in his own version of Deadpool robe, but the same wall design, and how the room was of the hallway, and basically how he's like, "You're still here. The movie's over. Shoo. Oh, you're waiting for Samuel Jackson to come in with an eye patch and a little good leather number. No. Shoo. But I will tell you something about the sequel. We're gonna have Cable. Before it went to black, and then back to him talking about the sequel, he quotes that, "Oh yeah, we don't have money for a sequel, so shoo shoo." And it goes to black, goes back to the post-credit scene, where he's like, "One thing about the sequel, we're gonna have Cable, bionic arm, time travel, super cool. Don't know who we're gonna cast." And he threw out a few actors, even actresses, and which I found that funny. Which at the time I didn't know who Cable was until until they went to do the sequel. I kind of play an old Deadpool game, so I kind of also already knew by the first Deadpool movie actually who Cable was, but not as much until a little bit more. The second movie came out, and kind of before the second movie was coming out, then I learned a little bit more of who Cable really was. But I love the references that they made throughout the movie, like basically twice of X-Men Origins Wolverine, of how that Deadpool was at the end of the movie. Can you do us all a favor and just shut up? Or I'm gonna stitch your pretty mouth shut. Oh, you don't want to do that, trust me. That I mean, I know they didn't really typically say it just like that way, but short way of putting it of that way of how that was a pretty funny joke of like referencing back to X-Men Origins Wolverine when they actually did stitch Deadpool's mouth shut. The action figure that they made years ago for that Deadpool, I really found it funny. Before they brought up Wham, and then I also like that the actor who they chose to ran the bar, that played the character that ran the bar. To me, I like him as an actor. To me, he's funny, like how he was funny in Transformers as well. Ready Player One. So I don't. But those are the movies I can name on the top of my head. But basically, what other references did they make that I caught and picked up and liked? I can't really say what else. Oh, Gandalf, Lion King. Honestly, Lion King. Oh, how Kuramatadas. He says sorry. The Lion King reference. That was just funny. I mean, the first time my sister heard that, she was pissed. But the second time she watched Deadpool, she found it funny. But that reference I liked, including because I'm kind of a Lion King fan. I grew into that movie, not at first, but I slowly grew, and I'm still growing on that Disney movie. And then basically the Lord of the Rings reference, Gandalf. Those I understood and liked. Others I may not like. Okay, another reference. Are you there, guys? Me and Margaret. That I understood thanks to my mom, because she helped explain that to me. Which most time now these days I kind of make a joke saying, "Are you there, God? It's me, Lucifer," because I got into the Lucifer show, so I just found it funny if they actually threw that in. But I think that's all the references I understood. Easter eggs, did I caught any Easter eggs? No, not really. Um, but overall, like I said earlier, the action, I really like the CG, I really like the story plot, I really like all the acting was good, it basically, it was a masterpiece of its own. Like basically people looked at X-Men Origins Wolverine and how kind of shitty that movie was. Let's not fully do that mistake. But here's this, a masterpiece, a golden, perfect thing. Let's bring it out. And it went through hell trying to get it out. Which, okay, yeah, I get it. It went through a bunch of scripts and a bunch of different rewrites. Which, there was a clip that was fun. That's funny because basically it's a reference itself. That basically a part where he's like sitting on one of the bridges, waiting for one of the black cars to go by, and he just jumps off it while he's listening to his little radio box and radio music box and drawing his little picture. That is basically a reference to itself because back when the movie was getting a bunch of rewrites, a bunch of basically pulled back, rewrite, going through a bunch of scripts, getting pulled back so many years, so many times, thinking that it's not going to be made. Well, someone on YouTube dropped a whole entire clip kind of similar to that fateful scene, and a lot of people, that little short clip got so many hits, got so many likes, people loved it, and basically that the movie did something similar to that, and basically that's another reference. It did itself, a Deadpool reference inside a Deadpool reference. Kind of put it in that term ish ness. That I also liked. So basically, that's basically all I have to say about the first Deadpool movie. Now I may have a little bit more to say about the second Deadpool movie. Who knows? But anyway, if you're a newcomer just randomly dropping by one of my videos, please hit that subscribe button because I welcome all new and old subscribers with open arms. If you're a old original subscriber, welcome back. I appreciate you guys always keep coming back. Always. Please leave something in the comments down below. I would really appreciate it. Anyway, anything Marvel Fox related. Basically, please hit that like button if you liked this video. Hit that dislike button if you didn't like this video. You know what? Hey, I'm gonna say it again. Drop a comment down below. Anything Marvel, like Marvel Comics, your favorite Marvel character, Fox Marvel movie wise, even TV show wise, favorite X-Men character, favorite X-Men comic, favorite X-Men cartoon, which could also lean into a little bit more of anything Marvel. So yeah, I just felt like saying that again. I don't know why. Have a nice day, have a nice night whenever you're watching this. Peace.